You probably like to think you're in complete control of your decisions, right? That every choice you make is the result of careful, logical thought. But what if I told you that psychology says otherwise? From the people you decide to trust, to the things that make you anxious, to the very choices that define your life. There are powerful psychological forces at play, quietly steering your thoughts without you even noticing. Today, we're diving deep into 5 of these truths that secretly control how you think. Get ready. Because once you see them, you can't unsee them. First up, let's talk about how you really make decisions. Here's a shocker. Your brain chooses first, and then it explains itself later. Most of our decisions aren't logical at all. They're emotional. When you're faced with a choice, your brain makes a split-second decision based on a gut feeling, an instinct, or an unconscious bias. It's only after that initial impulse that your conscious, logical mind kicks in. Its job to build a neat, rationale story to justify the choice your emotional brain already made. Think about it. Have you ever met someone and just instantly thought, I have a bad feeling about them? Or maybe you've walked away from a seemingly perfect opportunity because, as you put it, it just didn't feel right. That's your emotional brain at work. That feeling comes first, and the logical reasons like their handshake was weird or the office lighting was off are just justifications your brain cooks up afterward. We love to believe we're logical beings, but in reality, our feelings are in the driver's seat, and logic is just the passenger trying to read the map. This is why appealing to emotion is so powerful in everything from marketing to politics. The feeling comes first, the reason follows. Now, for our second psychological truth. Familiarity feels like truth. The more you hear something, the more believable it becomes, even if it's completely false. Psychologists call this the illusory truth effect. Our brains are wired to take shortcuts, and repetition is one of the easiest ones. When we encounter a piece of information over and over again, our brain starts to mistake that familiarity for accuracy. It thinks, well, I've heard this a bunch of times, so it must be true. This cognitive bias is the secret ingredient behind why propaganda is so effective. It's why urban legends and myths can survive for centuries, passed down from one generation to the next. And in our modern world, it's the reason misinformation spreads like wildfire on social media. A false headline, shared thousands of times, starts to feel true simply because it's everywhere. Your brain doesn't stop to fact-check every repeated statement. It defaults to what feels familiar and comfortable. So, the next time you find yourself nodding along to something you've heard before, take a moment and ask yourself, is this actually true, or is it just familiar? The answer might surprise you. Here's a tough one. Our third truth. Your brain hates uncertainty more than it hates bad news. It's a strange concept, but your brain would genuinely rather know for sure that something bad is going to happen. Constantly running through every possible scenario, trying to prepare for threats that may or may not exist. This state of constant vigilance triggers anxiety and stress. Once you know what you're up against, your brain can switch from anxious worrying to practical problem solving. This aversion to uncertainty explains so many confusing human behaviors. It's why people stay in toxic relationships or dead-end jobs. The predictable, familiar pain of their current situation feels safer and more manageable than the terrifying, unknown possibilities of change. They choose the devil. They know over the devil. They don't. We crave closure, even if that closure is painful, because it allows our brains to finally stop guessing and start coping. Moving on to number 4, and this one is a game changer. Your identity controls your behavior. We often think that our actions are driven by our goals. We set a goal to lose weight, save money, or learn a new skill, and we expect our behavior to just fall in line. But it doesn't work that way. Your behavior is not shaped by what you want to do, but by who you believe you are. If your core identity includes beliefs, like I'm not a math person, I'm just bad with money, you might try to follow a budget, But if you see yourself as bad with money, you'll find ways to overspend. You might want to speak up in a meeting, but if you identify as not confident, the words will get stuck in your throat. Real, lasting change doesn't happen by just setting new goals. It happens when you start to change your identity first. Instead of "I want to lose weight," you start thinking, "I am a healthy person." When your identity shifts, your behaviors will naturally follow to match it. And finally, our fifth psychological truth. Your brain is absolutely addicted to patterns. It's a pattern-finding machine, constantly scanning the world around you, looking for connections, meaning, and order. The problem is, your brain is so good at this that it often finds patterns, even where none exist. This is why we see faces in the clouds or animals in wood grain. It is why a gambler on a losing streak thinks they redo for a win after seeing a sequence of random outcomes. And it's why, during highly emotional moments, we might interpret a random event like a song coming on the radio as a profound sign from the universe. While this ability helps us make sense of a complex world, it also makes us vulnerable to superstitions, conspiracy theories, and misinterpreting randomness as destiny. The real power here isn't about learning to control other people. It's about recognizing the invisible strings that control you. By understanding these psychological forces, you can start to take back the reins and make more conscious, deliberate choices in your life.